Bangladesh are not playing. Why?
But my problem is the irony. Can we pull back to about 11 months ago when we had the Champions Trophy? India fought and said, we will not go there.
And it's a loss for us fans. That's the biggest point.
Well, hello, it was only in the last couple of days that India said that, hey, we can provide security to your players.
Definitely standing firm, standing on their ground is the correct option that they are doing right now.
For this situation to have been brought up to this level is just a disgrace from ICC.
Should Scotland be the correct team in to get the draw? Well, Abraz, the T20 World Cup is upon us, but we have a big controversy at hand. Bangladesh are not playing. Why?
Well, this is, I think, a much bigger news than in the world of cricket than a lot of people might be making it out to be. Especially a lot of fans from India are making it seem like, oh, whatever, it's a small deal. Bangladesh are not coming to play in this World Cup. I think what they're not realizing is how big of a deal this is for cricket. Maybe not in terms of a big team getting pulled out. Bangladesh is no Australia, it's no England, but what it does is it creates an atmosphere in the game where division rules over unification. And I think that is horrible in the world of sports. Let's talk a little bit about the timeline, how this all started. Why did Bangladesh have to pull out of the World Cup in the end? So we have to go back a little bit, obviously, to a couple of years ago when, from a non-sporting point of view, from the political scene, when the Bangladesh Awami League Party had to leave the country. And since then, the Bangladesh-India relations have been kind of rocky. But, when you think of rocky, it's obviously not a Russia-Ukraine situation, right? Which is why this is what is mind-boggling. You have certain countries like Russia, Ukraine, where there's an active war happening, and so it makes sense why they wouldn't want to go into one of those countries. There's no active war or anything like that happening.
Yeah.
So for this situation to have been brought up to this level is just a disgrace from ICC, and honestly very shameful from the Indian Cricket Board. It started on the 3rd of January when Mustafizur Rahman, who was the highest paid Bangladeshi player in the IPL in history, was left out of the Kolkata Knight Riders squad, which sparked very, very strong reactions in Bangladesh. It turned into a national controversy real quick. And what India said was, well, we can't provide security for him. And so Bangladesh quickly, the very next day on the 4th of January, said, well, if you can't provide security for one player, how are you going to provide security for our entire team when we come there for the World Cup in a month or so? And so they requested a venue change to Sri Lanka. And then, very strangely, on the 6th of January, 3 days later, ICC warned Bangladesh of possible consequences of trying to shift their game over to Sri Lanka. And I think if you look at all the previous times in history when something like this has happened, this is the first time ICC has said no to a team and straight up having to push them away. Anyways, fast forward a couple of days, 7th to 12th of January, the negotiations continue until about the 21st of January when ICC finally warned Bangladesh that if they do not confirm to travel to India, then they will be replaced in the tournament. And the very next day, Bangladesh on the 22nd announced that they will stand on their ground and pray for a miracle, is what they said, that ICC would change their mind. But on the 23rd to 24th of January, Bangladesh was officially kicked out of the World Cup. Scotland has been replaced. Sam, what are your thoughts on this?
No, my
Just
thoughts.
forgetting everything, forgetting the history, forgetting just in general. What are your thoughts on this?
I think this is such a very stupid decision. And I will say this. Okay, let's say hypothetically, yes, it's unsafe. If you want to bring up the argument that, oh, a venue shift is something a bit too big of a favor to do, especially, for fans and whatnot. Then I bring up the point Pakistan is already playing in Sri Lanka, so technically this tournament already has two venues where it's being played in. It really makes no difference for Bangladesh to just add their games in Sri Lanka. A team or some teams are going into the mindset that being Pakistan and whoever they're playing, India when they play Pakistan, with the mindset that yes, we are playing into venues. So if you just bring Bangladesh and you add the games into Sri Lanka, I really see no issue here. And it was a very good point. Well, if you can't provide security for one player, well, there is no guarantee for the entire team. There is absolutely nothing wrong with this
Yeah,
at all.
absolutely.
So this is just ICC once again bending down to the BCCI. Well, it's a shame. It's a shame for the fans. We look forward to the World Cups. Bangladesh is a team where, as a country, well, Bangladesh as a country, cricket is our biggest sport. We look forward to the World Cups, and it really is quite a shame to see that the fans will be deprived just for a very valid reason as to, just give us security and we'll play. It's simple as that.
I've heard some Indian fans joking about the situation, saying, "Oh, this is a very big loss. Now, how will all the other teams get two free points with Bangladesh no longer being there?" And you know what? Maybe. I'm not saying we would have won the T20 World Cup. We were far from it. But my problem is the irony. Can we pull back to about 11 months ago when we had the Champions Trophy last
Mm,
year, hosted by Pakistan, and India fought and said, "We will not go there." And what did the ICC do then? They gave India the biggest advantage, gave them a single stadium, a single hotel for the entire tournament where they could just relax and stay there in a different country. And now every country now has to come to you to play against you in the UAE. And why? Because of the same reason as what Bangladesh is giving player security, right? And okay, there is one point to be made though. I've seen some people make this point that, well, India, when they argued about security in Pakistan, they said that a few months in hand. So ICC had time to make those changes. Bangladesh is only making these changes in the last couple of days, which is why ICC couldn't make the changes. Well, hello, it was only in the last couple of days that India said that, hey, we can provide security to your players. If India had said that months before, maybe Bangladesh would have said, man, months before, please change our venue. Like, I
absolutely.
do not understand this double standard whatsoever. It is shameful from ICC that they don't even try to hide it anymore. It is pathetic, and it is a disgrace to the world of cricket what ICC has done in this situation here.
Absolutely. And coming to another point, we've been also hearing that Pakistan as a team, they're rumored to also boycott this tournament.
Oh, that would be hilarious, man. That if Pakistan boycotts the World Cup, that would be, I think that would impact cricket a lot more.
I,
So the
I,
World
I,
Cup a lot more.
I completely agree because obviously we all know that this tournament is the moneymaker will be India versus Pakistan. That game is the moneymaker of this tournament. So if Pakistan does take a stance, the ICC will finally honestly have to open up their eyes and be like, okay, we should follow this normal procedures and act rationally. So if Pakistan does boycott, Abraz, who is India facing? Is what I really want to know.
It's funny you should ask. So, in the situation that Pakistan decides to boycott this T20 World Cup, their replacement team will be Uganda. Now, can you
Ah,
imagine, Sam, Ahmedabad Stadium, Narendra Modi Stadium, 130,000 fans already paid their tickets. It's a sold out stadium to watch India versus Uganda.
it's
Now
gonna
that
be
will have ICC on their toes, and I would love it. I would love it if Pakistan stands up today and says, "Hey, we are boycotting this tournament." I know they're the PCB chairman, Naqvi. He came out and said some strong words against ICC regarding this matter, but I don't think they're gonna boycott it. But it would be, how funny would that be now if
it,
they
it,
did?
it would be, I think it would be the correct decision because this would be the first time I think in recent history where a team, a very large team, has stood up against the ICC and their favoritism, and would definitely set the standard towards the right way. But overall, this is just a disappointing situation. To say it's quite a disappointing situation, and it's a loss for us fans. That's the biggest point. It,
Absolutely. A lot of people have already spoken up about this. Shahid Afridi talked about how what I said at the beginning of this video, that ICC should be building bridges, not burning them. And he was very critical of how ICC has dealt with not just this conflict here, but even other conflicts such as the India-Pakistan conflict. Even people from Wisden who have come out, Indian people who represent Wisden, who have said that this is a horrible and sad moment for the sport, because you've had the same situation, like I said, 11 months ago, but very different results. And a lot of people coming out and saying a lot of things over here. One point that the Indian team has brought up is that, well, Bangladesh has requested this change very late. There have been other situations in the past where a team has brought up something like this very late, and the biggest one I think was Australia and New Zealand in 1996 when the World Cup was hosted by Sri Lanka. There were some security concerns there, and it was only 2 to 3 weeks before the group matches that Australia had, if I'm not wrong, said that they would not like to travel to Sri Lanka. And what the ICC responded to that with was, sure, you don't have to go to Sri Lanka. You can play all your games in India. And the games that you were supposed to play in Sri Lanka, those will be forfeited on your behalf as walkovers, but you can still play in the tournament. Why hasn't something like that been done here for Bangladesh?
yeah, I think the argument of the two free points, it still stands, but you know, you can at least they're still playing. That's the main thing.
On the other hand, Sam, how do you think Scotland is feeling at the moment?
Oh, I think they're having a great time right now. It's like it's nothing greater than knowing on the last day that, oh, we are going to play this tournament. That's amazing. So it's great for the team.
They
However, over there, we were discussing, should Scotland be the correct team in to get the draw, or was it Jersey? I think that, they qualified ahead, didn't they?
Yeah, so from the European qualifications, obviously England already qualified, and I think Ireland already qualified through other means. But during the qualifiers, the two teams that made it through were Netherlands and Italy. In third place was Jersey, and in fourth place was Scotland. So have Jersey been done wrong here? Should Jersey have played their first ever T20 World Cup? I don't know, but Scotland took their place because of on the basis of ICC rankings. But in those qualifiers, Scotland were horrible. They lost against Jersey and Italy. But they're back now in the World Cup, in the T20 World Cup, even after those horrible performances, and they are almost in a European group now. It's in the same group as England and Italy.
Oh
So we've got
well.
England, Italy, Scotland all going head to head in that group. I'm sure they're excited. But again, it's they haven't had much time for preparations, and I don't know. I don't think they're going to perform all too well based on their recent performances. But I would be happy to be the Scotland cricket board at the moment.
Very much so. Overall, I would say that we really are going to look over this tournament as one of the more disgraceful moments in cricket. Well, until the first bowl is bowled, there's always going to be more drama, and we are going to keep up with that, aren't we?
Absolutely. What do you think Bangladesh should do now from this point onwards? Like, what should be the course of action?
Definitely, standing firm, standing on their ground is the correct option that they are doing right now.
I'm glad. I'm honestly glad they stood their ground.
It was honestly the best course of action, because if they conformed, if they, took that risk, that would just leave the gate open to more, potential double standards in the future. That, okay, the other teams, they're desperate to play. They want, they're gonna do whatever we say. So we'll just keep at it. And standing firm was honestly the best action. And I will say that at this point, it is really up to, let's say, other teams if they do want to show solidarity or something like that to support a cause like this because hey, it could be them next. You never know.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what I think the worst thing Bangladesh can do now is
Yeah.
go to the next tournament and lose all matches. Like I think that's the worst thing they can do, but it's also the most likely outcome of what they can do. What's the next tournament? We've got the 2027 World Cup, the ODI World Cup coming up next year.
Ah, yes, yes,
The
yes.
2027 is going to be in Africa with South Africa, Namibia, and Zimbabwe hosting that one. But yeah, I think I mean it's they have to push forward now and actually go and win something. Prove
D
that at least they should be more recognized. They're a bigger deal than what people say them up to be. And stop being a Mairdoa team.
ah, yeah, that is very true. We can't live on hopes and prayers. We have to just perform on the pitch, and I hope that this sort of movement that's happened can add fuel to the fire to improve the team. But other than that, I think that's pretty much it. It's a disgraceful, sad moment for cricket, and we just have to
Yeah,
see where it goes from
I
here.
agree. Regardless, we'll watch the T20 World Cup as neutral fans this time around. Anti some teams probably, but not necessarily pro any team. But yeah, that's it. Let's see who wins the World Cup. But
Yeah,
until next time, it's good morning, good evening, and good night.
wherever in the world that you are.